Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And right now, my tongue is hurting. It's been hurting for 5 days already. I think I bit my tongue. I don't know what happened, so I may sound like I have a lisp, but I actually don't. My tongue is hurting, but I still have to make YouTube videos. So anyways, today I'm going to be doing a movie roundup video where I talk about the movies, TV shows, and movies and TV shows I watched in the last few days or so. So starting off at the very back end of October, I watched The Others by Alejandro Amenabar. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And oh my god, this is such a great way to end off Halloween. This is like a reiteration of a classic British horror trope. For a film out of the early 2000s, it doesn't rely too much on jump scares, but it's so moody and stylish at the same time. The child performances are great, and the ending is actually insane. Highly recommend this horror film. 9 out of 10. Then I watched Dead Poets Society. I screened this film for my job because I had to teach a bunch of Chinese TAs English and American culture, so I just screened this film for them. And for one of them and me. Anyways, it's good. Then for my film history class, we watched I Was Born But by Ozu Yasujiro. And wow, this is the first time seeing an Ozu film from the 1930s, and it's silent, and I've never seen a silent Ozu film, so it's very different from the Ozu I know. This film, compared to the other Ozu works I've seen, has way more camera movements, shorter take, and the story tightly revolves around two main characters. And it's not like its remake, Good Morning, at all. I love the way Ozu comments on class in his films, especially on this one. If we cannot be oppressed by our school bullies, then why is it okay that our dad acts like an idiot in front of his boss? How is that acceptable, but what we go through isn't? Such a simple question, and honestly, nobody knows. Ozu plays with the rules we set for ourselves in society so damn well. 8 out of 10. Then, I watched Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire. And yeah, this is like a Star Wars ripoff, and it's boring, it's trite, it's 2 hours wasted from my life, and apparently Zack Snyder already had this film idea in mind since 1997, and now he's finally made the film, and it's just on Netflix. It's not even like a huge release or anything. This, if anything, showcases how stubborn Zack Snyder really is. 3 out of 10. Then, for my animation film class, we watched Yellow Submarine, the Beatles movie. I fell asleep during the class a couple times, but from what I've seen, it looked incredibly interesting. This is an LSD-fueled avant-garde experimental animation that teeters between silly childlike imagination and uncanny off-kilter imagery. It's a trippy one. 8 out of 10. Then I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's just okay. Like, the first 10 minutes is a blast, but the rest of the movie is kind of the same old Marvel affair. 6 out of 10. Then, for my film history class, we watched The Goddess, and finally I got to see this legendary Chinese silent film. It's available on YouTube, by the way. This is a surprisingly feminist and moving and socially conscious film for a 1930s Chinese film. The main actress, Ran Lingyu, is amazing, and Maggie Cheung captured her so well in center stage. 8 out of 10. Then, I finally took a leap of faith and watched La Ventura by Michelangelo Antonioni. I've always been very scared to watch Antonioni. I've always heard that his films are really slow, and I'm scared of seeing a slow film and not understand it. And I'm afraid that's kinda what happened in La Ventura. To be fair, I was really tired and sleep deprived when I watched this film. I'm tired and sleep deprived all the time anyways, but I fell asleep a few times while watching the film, and every time I fall asleep, I had to go to bed and wait for tomorrow night to continue watching this film. Now, don't get me wrong, La Ventura is extremely slow-paced, but it's also somewhat artsy in terms of mise-en-scène, but it's also subtly mysterious. There is also occasionally amazing use of crossfades and composition, a shot with too much headroom, the kind of cinematography that is an inch more artful than usual, but it's still extremely nuanced. Antonioni is kind of like Italy's Bresson, the way he tells stories so straightforwardly, but the meandering story and the unclear character motives make this film for an involving experience. So unfortunately, the film hasn't clicked for me yet, but I will definitely rewatch it. 7 out of 10. Alright, from animation film class, we watched Flee, which is a film released a couple years back, and it's a really good, really moving and emotional story about being a refugee and homesickness. I think the animation served this topic really well, and the film constantly grapples with what reality is and what a healthy life is, what a healthy life should be, which I think is kind of interesting. 8 out of 10. Then, I finally got around to finishing The Sympathizer, and it's a mixed bag, but it's great for the most part. I love the directing of Park Chan-wook, and some political moments were pretty well written. Episode 4 is a standout for me, and Robert Downey Jr. playing 5 characters is just so much fun. Otherwise, some moments are a little boring and uninteresting. 7 out of 10. Then, on a big screen at my USC campus place, I watched The Seed of the Sacred Fig. It is a very dense film, but the first hour was kind of slow, but the rest is fantastic. I love how Mohammad Rasulov uses family as a conduit for politics, and the film has a very strong ending. Please go see this film in the theaters and support cinema, especially cinema coming out of directors who are actually being oppressed. 9 out of 10. Then I watched the Hong Kong film, The Lyricist Wannabe. I've been wanting to watch this film for like a whole year now. I keep not being able to find this movie. I finally found it. Yippee! So the movie actually started off really cringy, as expected for many Hong Kong films. Some of the performances are just straight up obnoxious. But I also love how the movie deals with the creative process of writing lyrics, and the movie actually ended up being kind of a heartwarming semi-autobiography about dreams and passion, which I really relate to. 7 out of 10. Then, about half an hour ago, I finished watching Pearl. Finally, it took me 3 sittings to watch this thing because I keep running out of time. Honestly, this movie is not all that great or anything. Like X, the prequel, it uses a gimmick the whole time, but this time the gimmick here is more fun than X. Mia Goth is absolutely fantastic and scary, and that's the best part about X and Pearl. I also love how colorful this movie is. I feel like we don't have enough colorful horror films. 7 out of 10. So yeah, these are the movies and TV shows I watched in the last few days or so. Comments below, let me describe you one more. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.